All right, so we just wrapped up the final playing lesson. It was very cold, very windy out there, but I feel like it was still a very productive one because we didn't just talk about what the main focus was, which was pre-shot and post-shot routine, but being in elements like that, especially being a player of your caliber, it's actually kind of good to be in stuff like that because not every time we go out and play, whether it's a tournament or just if we're playing with buddies, but not every single time we go out there and we're trying to play for something is it going to be 72 degrees and calm. Some days it's going to be very cold and very windy, or it's going to be very rainy, or there's going to be something going on conditions-wise. It's going to kind of throw us off a little bit. So we have to be ready for that, prepare for that, and that's just what kind of makes us a better player because it really boils down the game to more. It's a game of result rather than actually trying to make it look pretty. Do we want a really nice looking golf swing? Of course. Do we want to execute every single shot that we hit with perfect contact? Yes. Is that going to happen? No. And this is a great example of that. We're able to kind of work with the conditions, work with the wind, and kind of set a lot of that stuff aside and just focus on the result and what we need to do. And it really boils down to the mentality, the mental aspect of it. And we do more stuff like this, the more mentally tough we're going to be, because half the time if you're playing like in a club championship or something like that and all of a sudden it gets really windy, it's 20-30 mile-an-hour gusts, or it's super hot, it takes half the field out because they're complaining a lot about, well, it's this, it's that, and I don't want to. And if like what we were doing out there, you got a little bit quieter, like going the last couple of holes, and you had your last stretch on 18 where you had some fantastic iron shots come down the stretch, and that was when it was hounding in our face on some pretty difficult lies. You're still able to execute it because you were able to separate yourself from what was actually going on around you and just focus on the actual movement. So that was great. But let's focus back on to what we talked about with pre-shot and post-shot routine. We got your pre-shot routine down, which is awesome. The 2 practice ones behind the golf ball, stepping up, finding that line that's just in front of the golf ball. And what's nice about that is that it's simple and it's easy for you to remember. And the thing is too, after we got that down, it was a lot of fun to see you just do that over and over and over without actually having me telling you to do that. I'd be like setting something up, or I'd be like putting a club away, and I'd see you just already started, which is great because then you're already building in that muscle memory. And the more you do that, you're going to start doing it subconsciously to where that's just how you start a shot. Like for me, it's really hard for me to not hit a golf shot, like a full swing shot on the golf course without starting from behind the golf ball, because if I just walk up to the next to it, it's like, well, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. Once we do that, subconsciously, it's the only way that we view the golf shot, which is awesome. That's what builds consistency. Post-shot routine, a little bit more of a mental game there. It's not so much of like what we're physically doing. The only physical part is probably what we do when we hit a bad golf shot. Good golf shots are easy to react to and easy to kind of tone down the emotion because we're really kind of more of a positive mindset. So it's a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, it's easy to do this, that, and the other because we're feeling pretty good. It's when we're feeling bad that's really hard to kind of channel and control our actions. So I guess the big thing is that we hit a bad golf shot, or we hit a collection of them. It's not let the emotion get the best of us and just all of a sudden act out. Easiest way to avoid that, get something out of your hands. You hit a bad golf shot, just go, identify what happened, go straight over to your bag, put the club in the bag, and just start walking. Easiest way is just to get to the next shot, get to that next position and start thinking about what we need to do to either A, get ourselves out of that situation, or B, just to whatever we need to do to hit that next shot. But if we stew over it, if we do the whole leg slap or club slam, we're kind of festering in it, and it's very hard for us to pull ourselves out of it going into the next shot. And then that's how we snowball. Then that's how we pile on bad shot for bad shot, and we run into black numbers like what we talked about before. We want to eliminate those. Well, it's a great way to eliminate it. It's just pulling ourselves out of that, not letting us stew over it, and making sure that we're just focusing on, okay, what's the next step? Because really, what's the old saying? The most important shot's the next shot in golf. So yeah, we kind of have to stick that mentality. But overall, you did a great job today. Great job battling the elements. It was a rough one out there, but it was still a fun one. And we talked about a lot of good stuff today. So good job. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.